Let's turn now, if we can, sir, to the terrorist attack in Nice on Saturday. ISIS claimed responsibility for inspiring that horrific truck attack that killed 84 people, wounding more than 200. Does the U.S. have any intelligence to back up this claim by ISIS that it, at the very least, inspired the attack?
Well, there is public information that has been leaking out from France, from the investigation itself, regarding a, quote, very rapid period of radicalization. We know, obviously, what everybody now knows publicly, that he was a Tunisian who was given permission to live in France. But we had no knowledge of him as a radicalized individual. And at this point in time, we're waiting for the investigators, and we're helping the investigation in any way that is possible. Our hearts go out to everybody in France. This is the third major terrorist attack in France. It's very, very difficult for the French people. We understand that. There are 85 people in the hospital now, 20 plus in the intensive care unit. So we are working with the French to try to put the pieces together. But this is one of those things, Jake. It's worse than a needle in a haystack. If you have no indications of somebody and you don't have any track record of radicalization, and all of a sudden over a week or in some period, somebody with apparent mental problems anyway decides to go do great harm to people, it is not hard to do that. And governments and law enforcement have to be able to get this right every hour, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If you're a terrorist, and particularly of 1 or 2 days vintage, you can just go out and do something very easily. What we believe this indicates, however, is that Daesh, ISIL in Syria and Iraq is under great, great pressure. And people are acting out in various places, but they are not growing in their ability to do things. They are shrinking. We've taken back 40%, 45% of the territory they held in Iraq. We're squeezing town after town. We've liberated communities. We're making progress now, advancing on Mosul in Syria. Likewise, they're not able to attack and hold towns. They are on the run. And I believe what we're seeing are the desperate actions of an entity that sees the noose closing around it.
Well, with all due respect, sir, I'm not sure that it looks that way to the public, that ISIS is on the run. In just the last few weeks, we have seen a series of ISIS-inspired attacks. 49 killed in Orlando, 45 killed in Istanbul at the airport, more than 200 killed in Baghdad, 84 in Nice. This is just the last 5 weeks. I don't think ISIS is on the run.
Well,
they might be expanding.
Jake, it depends on where you mean ISIS. I don't know if this guy was actually ISIS, and nor do you. And we don't know that the guy in Orlando was fundamentally ISIS, nor even told what to do by ISIS. If people are inspired, they're inspired. But ISIL, which is based in Iraq and Syria, is under huge pressure. And that is just a fact. Now, there are thousands of fighters, some of whom left the area of the fighting years ago, and they are sitting in some community somewhere in the world. And if you're saying that one person standing up one day and killing people is a reflection of ISIS moving in Iraq and Syria, I think you're dead wrong. Now, is it capable for people to be inspired by them and go out and do great harm to people? I said that. I acknowledge that. Yes, there is that danger. But the core of ISIS is in Raqqa, and it's in Manbij, it's in Syria, it is in Iraq, and we are doing everything in our power to put additional pressure on them, and I believe their days are numbered.
You're doing everything you can do. I mean, I think there are a lot of people in the United States, in the Pentagon, in the national security apparatus, who have a number of suggestions as to what more could be done to put pressure and to eliminate the threat of ISIS.
And a lot of people have talked about American troops going in, et cetera. Congress displayed absolutely zero willingness to vote to do that. And if people have a willingness to show that now that has changed, the administration will listen to any legitimate plan, any legitimate way to do more. But I believe that the pressure is mounting on a steady basis, with more and more being done on a consistent basis, and we welcome additional thoughts from members of Congress, from anybody in the intel community and the defense community who knows or suggests President Obama is open to any legitimate ways of moving faster that meets the test of our security needs and of what the Congress is willing to support.